Public health is defined as the art and science of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health through the organised efforts of society. And medicine, according to Virchow, is a social science, while politics is nothing but medicine writ large. If we are to have any hope of keeping healthcare spending down to manageable levels, and they must always be manageable, we must do what we can to maintain, not harm, population health. We know that the health of a population is driven by the wider social determinants of health and driven down by poverty, deprivation, and inequality. We know that austerity policies exacerbate poverty and inequality and decrease the health of our populations through, for example, job losses, homelessness, hunger, harm to mental health. All of these are exacerbated by austerity, and all of them are moving in the wrong direction in the UK. The UK has 9 out of 10 poorest regions in Northern Europe. Nearly 4 million adults in the UK have been forced to use food banks. We see benefit sanctions and a hostile environment for benefits claimants. According to the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, actions by government, local authorities and utility companies are leading to destitution by design, forcing people into a corner when they are penniless and have nowhere to turn. This is shameful. Social security should be an anchor holding people steady against powerful currents such as rising costs, insecure housing and jobs, and low pay. But people are instead becoming destitute with no clear way out. That was what the Joseph Rowntree Foundation said. Brexit will exacerbate these effects, particularly in the already poorest areas, which is why the Public Health Medicine Committee passed a motion that it is in the best interests of public health and the health of the nation generally for the UK to remain in the European Union. Many wider determinants of health can best be tackled by government, by central government and by local government, which is why, following Virchow, I consider that public health is the political wing of the BMA. This is why there's a sound argument for putting public health into local authorities, and much fantastic work is being done by colleagues working in local authorities around the country. But they are doing it on a shoestring. Their work is being undermined by underfunding and political pressures. Public health departments' budgets are being cut, and doctors working in them moved on to much poorer, non-medical terms and conditions, putting the whole longer-term existence of the specialty at risk. And worse, key health programs, smoking cessation, sexual health, are being deprived of funds. There is also political pressure on public health doctors. Some are required to provide a positive spin on council policies, regardless of their objective opinions. Several, myself included, have been threatened with disciplinary actions simply for questioning or discussing government or council policies, for fear that vote-winning policies will be found wanting. You may have noticed that there's some sort of international sporting competition going on at the moment in Russia. Do you know how much we as a society spend on football? Well, in the 2017 summer transfer window alone, the English Premier League spent £1.4 billion on transfer fees. In 2016-17, they spent £250 billion on wages. And yet, in the following year, 2017-18, how much do you think English local authorities were given to spend on public health? And apologies for being England, but the previous football figures were just England. I'll tell you how much it was. It was the same as the Premier League spent on wages the previous year, £250 billion. So society chooses to spend much less on public health than it does on football. Governments have, perversely, chosen to agree with Bill Shanklin that football is not a matter of life and death, it's more important than that. Politicians do have a duty to spend taxpayers' money carefully, but many of the choices society has made recently speak of playing to the nasty, xenophobic, I'm all right, Jack press barons, while ignoring important and more beneficent priorities. It is our duty, for the sake of the patients and populations we serve, to remind governments of every colour of their duty to ensure the health of society by valuing it at least as highly as they do football and funding it accordingly. RB, I move.